Welcome, fam, to the Soultribe podcast, a place where hearts meet wisdom, where we gather together around our virtual kitchen table to share, connect, and grow together. I'm your host, Aunty Charmaine, and I'm honored to have you here as part of our tribe. In this space, we dive into conversations that nurture the spirit and lift the soul. We'll explore the richness of herbalism, spirituality, mindful practices, and uncovering paths of health and wellness and spiritual soundness. These are the conversations we all crave, and I am so glad to have these conversations with you. So pull up a chair and bring an open heart, and let's talk, learn, and heal together. All of us together. This is the Soultribe, and you're at home. So let's dive in. Welcome to the Soultribe podcast, where we come together to connect and uplift each other in mind, body, soul, and spirit. And today we're exploring a question that touches us all deeply. Can you see the inner vision for your life? We're going to talk about this very powerful idea, as within, so without. But first, let's start by understanding what it really means. So, what's the basics, right? What does that concept mean? What does it mean to have an inner vision? Well, this inner vision that you have is a vision that is in you. It is inside of you. It is within the chambers of your absolute core. And you go there from time to time, whether it is in your dream state, whether you are what we call daydreaming, or whether it is literally an inner vision. This is what it means to have an inner vision. What does it mean when we say, can you see that inner vision? Can you share a time in your life where you felt clear and powerfully guided towards your inner vision? One of the times that I can clearly remember where I was guided towards my inner vision was when it was time for me to grow out of accolades for human approval and to gain actual spiritual insight. So I was a little bit naive in thinking that, okay, this is going to be a cakewalk. You know what I'm saying? I was already a writer at the Huffington Post. I was already an ambassador to UN Women, teaching women in Africa to own their own businesses. And this is going to be easy. Not a problem. I grew up in the Pentecostal church on my mother's side of the family. My father's side of the family's from West Africa, from Liberia. And so I'm second generation American, and this is a cakewalk. All I got to do is remember certain things, and I got this. Never did I imagine that the inner vision that I actually had for my life, and I thought I had achieved, I thought I had somehow acquired these accolades, because surely if people thought I was great, then I was great. Never in a million years did I actually think that the work that was guiding me into a greater spiritual understanding was the actual inner vision. And I was then to take that inner vision and walk the path myself. And after I had came on the other side of my spiritual awakening, I would have to turn around and bring others and guide them to theirs. So never could I have imagined that I would be the owner of a spiritual store, and my entire life took a totally different direction. Every day, there was like a little breadcrumb that led me to a crystal or led me to a gospel song that I remembered my grandmother playing. Every day, there was an herb that I could remember my grandmothers would anoint and pray over and would ingest when they boiled a tea. I remembered what it felt like in those times when we all had to rely more on our inner visions. And we were taught by our grandmothers to live those visions without, because, of course, the divine gave you that vision. So, what do you think? What does it mean, as within, so without? As within, so without literally means that inner vision that is within. Focus on that, and you will begin to live it without. Living it without looks very different for everyone, because everyone's vision is very different. It's tailored to each individual. So whether it is you have aspirations to open up your own business, whether it is that you have aspirations to help humanity, you have aspirations to be a parent or fall in love, whatever that inner vision is, no matter how great nor small, hold on to the inner vision. Okay, Auntie, so what am I supposed to do with this vision after I've held on to it? What do I do with that? Okay. Well, what I would tell you to do is to take that vision, sit with it. And as you sit with it, allow the other pieces of that vision to come into clearer view. And you'll meet that vision every time, whether it is in your dream state, whether it is in an actual vision, whether again it is in something we call daydreaming. All of these are internal visions that cannot be damaged, but it has been placed within you since the beginning of your existence. So there is something about holding on to the vision, seeing the vision, and then doing what a person within that vision would do in order to have what that person would acquire. So there's a saying called be, do, have. It's an idea model that people talk about. So be the person within the vision. Be that person. Do the things that that person in the vision would do, and you will acquire the things that that person would have acquired. See, what people don't realize is whether good or bad, we are always envisioning. And whether good or bad, we will at some point meet what we're creating within those visions. So, what do you think is it so important to be clear? What do you think about the clarity of these inner visions? These visions have to be clear, because if the visions is not clear, the path and the direction to go won't be clear either. So, how do you begin to get more clear about the vision? Sit with yourself and sit with that vision. How does that vision make you feel? Does it truly bring contentment? Is it only or solely or partly feeding your ego? Who else is benefited from this magnificent vision that you have? And are you sitting in a vision that was placed in you, or that you gave yourself from being influenced by others? These are all very important questions to ask yourself, because once you become clear on the vision, the path then begins. So then you start walking the path, moving within the path, living the path, and therefore you will gain all of the good, the bad, all of the happies, the joys, the sadness that comes with that path. So, for those listening who may feel lost or uncertain about their path, what would you say to them about the power of creating the inner vision? I would say, sweetheart, allow yourself to dream and see the greatest vision placed within your soul. So, for those of us who would say, okay, how do I connect? How do I cultivate the ability to connect with these inner visions? I would say to you, First steps. Number one, meditate if you can on the vision. That is so powerful. When you pray, you are communicating with the infinite source. But when you meditate, you are then hearing from the infinite one. I would encourage you to meditate because guidance, inner guidance, is very important to walk on the inner path, living out that inner vision. What are some other things that you can do? You can journal. Journaling is a very powerful tool that connects you with your inner vision because that which is written is real. When you write something out, no different than a scriber who back in the day used to scribe. You understand? It's something about the written word that solidifies whatever it is that you're trying to bring into this existence. So that is another way that you can do these things, bringing in that inner vision, living out that inner vision. So can I walk you through a quick exercise of reflection, some kind of a practice that you could do at home, just connecting to that vision? Number one of the quickest ways that I know to connect with my inner vision is grounding myself to the earth. When I will put bare feet on the ground, walk on earth, with or without a crystal, there is something about connecting to nature that allows me to connect to that inner vision. It allows my mind, my brain, my spirit, my soul to actually slow down and start the process of connecting. Then, of course, there are other ways to connect. Tell yourself before you go to bed tonight, I am going to meet my inner vision in my dream state. Bring me clarity of my path and allow me, divine spirit, to have greater awareness of what I am to do in this world and how I am to show up. And when you have that dream, hold on to it. See, there are so many ways that our ancestors, our grandmothers, our community, what they call double-minded doctors, would teach us, would show us, whether through herbalism, whether through prayers, all of these old practices. It was not by accident that your grandfather, if he knew he was looking for good luck and he wanted to take that inner vision and bring it without, he would wear a buckeye in his pocket. It was not by accident that our grandmothers would make sure that on Sundays that certain music was playing because it was connected to us on Sundays to reverence, to get quiet, to self-reflect. All of these are practices that we can incorporate even now into our very existence. But the next step, the very hard step that we need to talk about is, can we trust and believe in the vision that we are seeing? See, a lot of times we don't have a problem with envisioning. We don't have that problem. A lot of times the problem is believing the vision that we have. How can we connect to something if we don't even believe that it's feasible? How can you desire a life of abundance, prosperity, and all the rest when you're willing to believe that you can't achieve it? So trusting and believing is very hard, but I implore you that every time you've actually connected to your vision and part of that vision happens, acknowledge it. Right then and there, acknowledge it. And you will find that it will be easy and easier to find the synchronicities throughout your day. I'm telling you, self-reflection, connecting to the vision, really materializing it is the final stage. It's not what comes first. How do you overcome doubts and fears that arise when following your vision that feels uncertain or even impossible? We overcome it, number one, by actually sitting with it, because the longer we sit with it, we engage with it. And the longer we engage with it, it becomes real and real. This is the reason why when you watch movies and shows and things, it is feeding you a vision, and that vision is feeding your mind, it's feeding your third eye, and your body is then reacting, your soul is then reacting, your spirit is then reacting, and then you start to materialize the very thing that captured your attention, and you're holding on to it. So do that with your inner vision for your soul's highest good. So they say that consistency is the key to manifesting our dreams. And how do we keep our inner visions alive and strong every day? One of the things that connects us to our inner vision every day is sitting every day with that vision. We can easily fall off track when we lose sight of the vision, and other things that come in our path to distract us become more important. So whether it's journaling throughout your journal, or actually listening to a song that connects you to that vision, actually meditating on your day before it begins, after your day has ended, sitting with yourself and recalling your day, living in a space of gratitude, listen, brings in your blessings. And these are all practices that you can do every single day to align yourself with that. Understand that your inner vision will only be as great as you're willing to see it. So if you cannot envision any greater, any grander than where you already are, the vision needs to start with you and you alone. Can't start with nobody else. I'm telling you right now, Auntie has been there and done that. If your vision does not start solely with you and meeting your needs first, the rest of the vision will be very hard to achieve, because you won't be able to really sit in it if you can't see that your vision starts and ends with you first. So, that being said, what are some small things that we can do as a community to live in our vision? So understand that with your small vision of your beginning life, your life being the microcosm, you then get to grow your vision out. So understand that it always starts with one point of light. That's you. And you, that one point of light, then shed light out into the world, into whatever capacity you came to earth for. So making sure that you are envisioning you, allowing your vision to grow, and making sure that you understand that everything that you came in this life for, you will live to a lesser or greater degree. I would encourage us all to live our absolute greatest dreams, because it's in that listening, living, envisioning, and living without that is going to allow us to see a life that is worthwhile, which would give us the passion and the energy to fortify something so magnificent that we bring even greater awareness and greater support to humanity. So everyone, thank you for our first podcast. Soultribe, I'm so glad that you are here. Listen, we're going to have an amazing time for sure. Every week we will be putting out a new podcast. This one will air November the 7th. And we're going to ensure that every week we send out a new podcast, because your voice matters. My voice matters. But when we put our voices together, we're dynamic. There is nothing that we cannot achieve or overcome. Always remember that living within always brings manifestation without. And I'm looking forward to us always getting back together. Thank you for joining us today on this journey within. Remember, beautiful souls, that the work you do inside will always reflect outside. Tune in for our next episode where we'll continue exploring ways to live the life you've envisioned. Peace and love, y'all. Thank you, beautiful souls, for joining me today at the Soultribe. I'm so grateful to have you here in this sacred space we share, a place where we can grow, heal, and remember who we really are together. As you go back into your life, I invite you to carry the wisdom that we shared here today. Let it guide you. Remember, alignment with your spirit, living with intention, connecting deeply with each other is what makes our journey so powerful, so wonderful. If today's episode spoke to you, please share it with someone who may need these words. And know that Auntie is always here and will continue to show up for the Soultribe. Me and you. Peace and love.